Peace and blessings, everyone. This is yours truly, Amari. I am the founder of El Kebalan Unity Alliance. We focus on your spiritual, your physical, financial well-being. Additionally, the knowledge of self. My queen, Amani Amari, is the co-founder. We thank everyone for your love and support. We thank you all for sharing and inviting. This is not about fame with us. It's all about helping to transform people's lives in a positive light. And on today's mastermind session, we're going to talk about staying on the path. Don't take the detour. Staying on the path. Don't take the detour. And I'm going to share some personal things with you on today. My consciousness has transformed due to me listening to accurate information. I had exposed myself to prejudice information, racist information, hateful information, and it didn't do my spirit any good. I went backwards instead of forward. I'm a spiritual person. I'm not a person who was ever prejudiced in my life until I started listening to the wrong content. And when I continuously exposed myself to hate crimes, unfortunately, I became very bitter. And I became a person that I had never been before in my life. I found it to be unhealthy for me. I found that I became a person of bitterness and anger. And I lost my focus. I got off of my path. I'm a person who was chosen to reach the souls of man. I believe in peace on earth, goodwill towards men. Wisdom is not restricted to a specific ethnic group or race or whatsoever label that you want to put on it. I personally had to regain my footing because I found myself drifting off of the path and unfortunately taking a detour that had led me to a dead end where there was no peace, no joy, no prosperity. I was sincere in my heart, but I was sincerely wrong. I became very judgmental and very dogmatic in my approach because of the individuals that I was listening to. You have to be very careful who you allow to speak in your life. You have to be very careful who you attach yourself to because bad company corrupts good manners. I have found myself becoming what I hated. And so I had to unsubscribe to the falsehoods that I had subscribed to. I had to unlearn what I had learned. I had to detach myself from what I had attached myself to. I had to get back on my life path. We have to be very careful about what we expose ourselves to via our eye gate and our ear gate. We have to be very careful about what we read, what we watch, what we listen to, because the information that we ingest, it influences our mentality. In the aftermath of that, it affects our perception and our attitude and our conduct. I fortunately had became one who I believe had become intolerable of other ethnicities. because of the judgmental information and the misinformation that I had exposed myself to. The Creator created us all. And although we may vary in our physical features, in our cultural backgrounds, I believe in equality for all humanity. I believe in peace, love, and joy for all humanity. And I myself personally will never again allow anybody to taint me with any corrupt teachings that will have me to look at any other human being without a fair assessment of their character. The Honorable Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said, "I will not judge anybody by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character." And although some of us, we feel like we truly have evolved, we really haven't evolved in our consciousness. Unfortunately, we are still incarcerated because we went from one prison to the next prison. It's just like an inmate that has been moved from one cell to another cell in jail. He hasn't been, or she hasn't been set free. They just moved from one prison cell to another one. I had to come to find that I had to stay on my path. And the truth of the matter is, I walk a high path. The spiritual path is the highest path that one can ever walk, because it's one of peace and love and of joy, one of moral teachings. I believe that that's the way that the divine universe would have us to do. It's to not teach hate, but to be people of love. So instead of allowing hate to germinate, let love germinate instead of hate. I'm not saying that things have not happened to us, but what I am saying is that if we're not very careful about what we expose ourselves to, we become to find us becoming what we actually hate. If we're not careful, stay on the path. Don't take the detour. Don't allow anyone or anything to cause you to miss the mark. It doesn't matter what somebody thinks. What matters is what you think, because the way you think is what's going to affect your life. No one else has to live in the hell that you create with your own mind and your conduct. You're the one that has to live with the hell that you created. And with that being said, I had to detox from the things that I had been intoxicated with, that affected my mentality. And there was a domino effect of that because it affected my conduct. And it affected my perception of other individuals. I'm not concerned about someone accepting me or rejecting me. What I'm concerned about is the manner of spirit that I'm in and how I conduct myself towards my fellow man. I'm concerned about how I live my life here in this earth realm. I desire to live my purpose and to be who I have been created to be. And I refuse to allow anybody or anything to get me off track and cause my life to be derailed and to cause chaos to come into my life. When you listen to the wrong people, that means that they're giving you wrong information, which is going to give you the wrong mindset, which is going to have you on the wrong path, which will lead you to the wrong place. It's time for you to go back. In this case, going back is the best way to go, because I found myself going backwards instead of forward. I was going the right way, but I was persuaded that I was going the wrong way. And then I went the wrong way, thinking I was going the right way. Then we call right wrong, and then we call wrong right. And we get off track. It's time for us to regain our focus. It's time for us to have a fresh start. And in this time, and in this place here, it's time for us to go back to the things that we once had started. Whatsoever that is in your life too. Some of you may need to go back to working out again. Some of you may need to go back to prayer and meditation again. Some of you may need to go back to studying again. Some of you may need to leave, the old alone and regain the new. Whatsoever it may be, begin. Don't take the detour. Stay on the path.